There are two kinds of people in this world. The people who fail to do what they know they should, and those who keep doing things they know they shouldn't. Guess what? You're both. Hi, I'm your host, life and business coach, Marcy Barker, aka your loving kick in the pants. In this podcast, I'll teach you the 6 steps of my accountability code that will help you wake up with clarity and show up with aligned action steps that make follow through easy and peaceful. All right, let's jump in.
Hello, my beautiful people. I am excited to talk to you today about my 8-week accountability code coaching program because we're starting up again. And guess what? I only do this program twice a year. Now, before we dive in, I want to tell you the reason I only do it twice per year is because I only work with a certain amount of people. And guess what? My loving kick in the pants is the very best when there's not so many kicks to give. And really what I'm going to do is track you down and make sure that we hit your goals together. So, in this podcast today, I'm going to tell you about all the different parts of the 8-week accountability program, and you can see if it's right for you. There are a couple ways to sign up. You could just request the site, the info page, or you can get on a call with me, which I prefer that you get on a call with me because I want to make sure that your goal is aligned with what we're doing and that you are fully aware of how I coach. Now, if you're listening to this podcast for the first time, you probably are not even sure what the accountability code is. But if you've been listening for a while, I think that you might have some idea of how the accountability code can work and transform your goals. So let's dive into it. The very first thing that you need to know in the 8-week accountability code coaching program is that it is a sprint. Okay. This is a time where we get together and we focus on what one big goal is and we crush it in 8 weeks or less. Now, this is the 5th group that I've run. My book was published in the beginning of 2022. And ever since the book launch, I've done 2 groups a year. And the goals that people set are very vast. There's a lot of different reasons why people join this program. So as a life and business coach, my Wake Up and Show Up Mastermind is very business and strategy and clarity focused. But a lot of people join my 8-week program because they're really sick and tired of not doing a couple of things that they know they should. So for example, one of my clients joined because she wanted to declutter her house. And she knew that she needed help doing that, but she also needed dedicated time to get it done. So another person joined because she wanted to focus on her family business and eventually quit her job. And you know what? Now that I'm saying all of this, you guys can listen to these stories of my clients because at my very first round of the 8-week coaching program, I did a celebratory retreat. And so at the retreat is when I had everybody come together and celebrate their goals. And we talked about it on the podcast. Each person who wanted to recorded a podcast with me. So we got to talk about their different goals that they accomplished. But back to the point of people join for a lot of different reasons. So here is what you need to know if you're like, am I a good fit for this? Well, if I've already told you what the program is about and you're like, yeah, I have a goal, I have something that I would like a loving kick in the pants for, then it's probably something you should do. Because I want to ask you, where else are you going to find somebody to hold you accountable to your goals and not deviate from your goal? That's the purpose of the 8-week program, is to say, okay, what's that one thing that we're going to do and we're not going to deviate from it. So in the course, my job is to help you accomplish your 8-week goal, but it's by mastering the process and the framework of the accountability code. Because yes, I can offer you a loving kick in the pants for 8 weeks, but what happens when that 8 weeks is over? I want you to have developed the ability to listen to yourself on the inside and then take action on the outside. And one of my favorite parts about my brand new course that I created, I completely redid my entire 8-week program. So it's brand new. In each module, in each step of the accountability code, there is a lesson that teaches you what alignment feels like. And guess what? As I was putting this course together, I realized every step of the code has internal alignment and it has external manifestations too. So that means, okay, let's take the first step of the accountability code, reflection. Reflection is thinking on your goals and your values and your problems. So as you become better at reflecting can be a lot of different things. It can be journaling, it can be meditating, it can be thinking to yourself, it can be taking a deep breath before you respond. There's a lot of different ways to reflect, but as you implement that ability to reflect, well, some things are going to happen on the inside and the outside. So the first thing that you might notice on the inside is that you're way more self-aware. Like, you know when you're irritated, you know when you're at peace, you know when you're ready to move forward, you know when somebody's taking advantage of you, you know when somebody's hurting. Like, a lot of different pieces of self-awareness become a lot more relevant because you see it, and that's because you've practiced reflecting. Now, things that happen on the outside, some people need that external validation, especially when you're trying real hard to make something happen in your life. So pieces of external manifestations of reflection might be that people talk to you differently, or they are more receptive to you saying, hey, I need to think about this for a second and then I'll respond. Or even an external manifestation is you're able to not be attached to reacting and you respond instead. Like, okay, I'm going to set my phone down at the end of the workday and I'm going to set boundaries between what I really need and what people expect me to do.
Hey listeners, the message of waking up and showing up is yours for the taking. In fact, it's free. I've recorded my entire audiobook and I'd love for you to consume it between episodes. Head to marcybarker.com to get instant access to the accountability code Wake Up and Show Up. All right, let's jump back in.
So what's really cool about those internal realizations and the external manifestations is that is where the change actually happens. And you guys know my quote, true happiness comes only when our spirits learn to control our bodies. This is where your mind and your body match up. And this is where you in the world match up with your environment, the external pieces outside of you. So through the course in the past, it's been all about reach your goal, and read the book and do the workbook. So I actually had one person drop out throughout the program. And it was because she was like, I can't do all of this. I'm an all or nothing kind of person. And her drive to be perfect is actually the very thing that stopped her from being accountable to her big goal. So it was kind of frustrating, but I understood what she was saying. You know, I took that as feedback of like, why did this person drop out? I gave her all the pieces, but in her brain, all of the pieces were very overwhelming for her because she felt like she had to do it all. So when I was growing and learning and adapting my program based on the needs of my clients, I thought, you know what? There are some people who have purchased my book and have downloaded my book and have not even cracked it open yet. And while learning the framework of the accountability code is very important, sometimes we have to take a step back even before that and say, hey, what is the reason I bought this book, but I haven't opened it up yet? And it's kind of silly because it's like, if you would just open it up, you would see. But the focus of my 8-week course now is not just, hey, read the book and do the workbook. It is, let's help you understand and apply each of the steps at your own pace, even if that means you don't open the book and read it cover to cover, because I feel like my course, I don't want it to be about me and what I do. I want it to be about you and how you are listening to yourself. So I'm really excited about the course because we dive into what all of these things look like. What does it mean to wake up and show up? What does it mean to set your goal appropriately? What does it mean to reflect? And so another piece that I'm really excited about the program, which I haven't done before, is there is a big spreadsheet where everybody in the program puts their goals. Now, when I started with my mastermind last year, there were some people dealing with some really heavy stuff that was pretty private and personal. And another one of my clients said, hey, you should have everybody put their goals on this spreadsheet so everybody can know what everybody's doing. And immediately I shut that down. I was like, no, because the stuff that this person's going through, that's not anybody's business at all. And as I kept going with my new round of mastermind clients, I was like, you know what? Things are shifting where this is all about business. We are going to put the goals down on a big spreadsheet so that people can help each other and follow through. And so with this 8-week program, we're doing the same thing. Now you might be like, well, Marcy, what if my goal is something big, or something really, really personal? That's okay. You don't have to put down what your big goal is if you don't want to. But the spreadsheet is going to help you recognize what each piece of the accountability code looks like for you. So what I'm really excited about is marrying the two pieces of, yes, you're going to reach your 8-week goal, and yes, you're going to learn the accountability code, but on your own terms. I'm going to teach you, I'm going to feed you the information, but it's not necessary that you do it just like me or just like anybody else. But it is necessary that you do it. It is necessary that you show up and you fill out, you check the boxes that yes, you are aware and we can support you. So that's another big change to the program that I'm really excited about. Another thing that I'm doing that I have not done before is a pre and post assessment on accountability, because one thing that we talk about in the accountability code and in my community is you can believe something about you, but just because you believe it about yourself doesn't mean that it's perceived the same way to other people. Like being a good mom, for example. If you're doing all the things you feel like a good mom should do. My kids do their chores, they get no TV until their chores are done. They eat 3 meals a day, they take care of their plates, all this stuff. You could be so rigid in those things, but if you were to ask your kids, like, is your kid a good mom? And they come and say, you know what, I don't get to do anything fun. She doesn't listen to me. All she does is work. Well, then it's like, okay, are you a good mom? Well, it depends on how it's perceived and how you're applying that good mom status. So what's really awesome about this new approach and this new program, this new updated program, is that we're finding the balance. We're finding the middle between waking up and showing up for yourself and how that is applied to your goals. So that's why getting on the phone and talking about your goals with me would be really imperative to see the best way to approach tackling your goal. Now, if you're like, I don't want a program, I don't want a coach, that's totally fine. There are definitely times in my life where I've gone without a coach because I feel like I need to figure out myself and what I want to do. And believe it or not, the accountability code helps me through those times, but it was only because I've been able to master the code that I can do that effectively. So if you're like on the fence about, should I look into this program? I want you to ask yourself, give yourself an honest answer of like, how am I doing with following through? And am I following through with things that I know I should do? Or am I kind of checking the boxes for somebody else in what I should be doing, but it's not quite fulfilling? So what I'm going to do is the next few weeks of the podcast are going to be more details about the program and what you can expect. We are starting on March 11th and we go until May 5th. So that is 8 weeks. There are group calls, there's calls with me, and there's a ton of resources inside of the new online program as well. So I would love for you to book a call with me and just see if it's right for you. And there's absolutely no obligation at all. If you just want to learn about it, or you want to go through the code, or you want to chat with me because you've been listening for a long time and we've never actually talked to each other, then you can totally book a call and we can become acquainted with each other on a new level. So I hope you stay tuned for the next week. And again, if you are feeling that nudge inside of like, it's time for me to do something and it's time for me to be a little bit more serious about what I'm doing, then this may be the perfect program for you. So stay tuned for next week and I'll talk to you later.
Hey friends, I want to thank you for listening to this episode of Your Loving Kick in the Pants. If you got any value out of this episode, I would love for you to drop me a review or share with a friend what you learned. All right, I'll see you next Wednesday for Your Loving Kick in the Pants.